Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I hope my laughter this morning brings you joy because I am feeling so good to be with you this morning. Felicia and I are trying a new thing. We went directly to Facebook this morning, so that's why you didn't hear the intro. I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm just laughing because every time I learn something new, I'm always in awe of myself that, that I am learning all these new things. So hopefully you're there and that you can see us here this morning. So if you're there, please write in the chat. Let us know that you're out there joining us and that you can see us and you can hear us. And say good morning. So good morning from Life is a Sacred Journey. We hope that you're all here and that you can see us, hear us, and we'll get started here with our podcast this morning. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you in the Life is a Sacred Journey neighborhood. My name is Micheal Pope. I am your host, and it is my honor and pleasure to always be here with you. And I know that it's always a little weird when we do something new, try something new. So I hope that you're here. Hit the share button and come on in to the virtual neighborhood. Go get your second cup of coffee, third cup of tea, or your glass of orange juice, and welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, we went Facebook Live this morning without having to use Zoom. Felicia is an incredible artistic person who keeps pushing me to be my best. So thank you so much, Felicia, and welcome to all of you. Welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. As always, we have our candle lit for those that have passed away from COVID or Alzheimer's or dementia, or those that we've lost. We also light the candle. It's actually a 4-prong candle. We light the candle for those that are contemplating suicide, and we want them to know that their life is very important and they should stay with us. So I want to share something with you this morning. We have Ponderings, just for all of you that are new, that just joined us today for this gathering. We meet here every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on Facebook Live, and then you can also find us on YouTube and all the other social media, Instagram, all of those, LinkedIn, different platforms. And then what we do is we just connect with one another. We bring authors and individuals who are really seeking how to be happy and seeking how to find joy, seeking how to be intentional and connectional with other individuals. And then we support caregivers so self-care and caregiving and all of those topics that make up our lives and make our lives so sacred. So that's sort of our vision and mission. We bring in all kinds of folks to talk to you. And then you get me. For the month of January, you have gotten me because we are setting up our year of guests. And so you'll begin to see more of our guests coming in. But we have what we call Micheal Pope's Ponderings. And those are things that really are just that, ponderings of things that I thought about for the week, things that came up for me at a stop sign or a red light, or an interaction that may have created some thought for me. So you're in my virtual office here where you see all the things that are important to me here in the background. But welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. To all of you that have followed us forever and ever, thank you for coming back. Thank you for sharing. And as you know, before we ended 2021, Felicia came up with this marvelous idea that we would go back to people and ask them to put together a 2022 message for you.
Hi, Carolyn A. Brent here. I'd like to think life is a sacred journey. Life is sacred, and I tell you, we all have a different walk, but we always meet up together every Friday at 8 o'clock a.m. West Coast time and 11 o'clock in the morning in the East Coast, and I'm here in Florida. But I want to say, Micheal Pope, thank you for having the vision, the mission, and the purpose for making a difference and being the voice. And I will always chase behind you, trying to get your attention, saying, Micheal, thank you. And I want to thank Felicia. Felicia, you are an amazing creator of content and beautifying and social media. You are helping to make a true difference with life is a sacred journey. So I want to thank you for all you do. And I'm looking forward to 2022. Well, and this is what Micheal would say. She'd say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my supporters and listeners. And I'm saying that, I'm repeating Micheal's words because her work is worldwide. And thank you for the mission. Again, Carolyn A. Brent from Deep Beauty Health and Wellness University. Bye-bye.
So that's from Carolyn, wishing us a new year of joy and happiness. And then we received a message from Magda, and she says, Dear Life is a Sacred Journey community, as we enter this time of the year, many of us feel like we're running on empty. This has been almost 2 years of a marathon. I invite you to take this moment. Give yourself a mental and physical hug. Go ahead, wrap your arms around yourself and offer yourself a thank you. So go ahead and do that. Wrap your arms around yourself right now and give yourself a thank you. Magda, thank you for reminding us. And then she says, thank you for the moments when you got up and faced each new day, even when you didn't think you could. Thank you for the days when you courageously set the boundary and said that you would stay in and focus on yourself. Thank you for growing and multiplying love, compassion, and joy, even when you felt like the amount you had was dwindling. Thank you for making plans and creatively pivoting so many times. Thank you for the countless times you have demonstrated resilience and generosity. Thank you for always seeking the silver lining and shining light on it. Thank you. I am honored to be in a community with all of you and wish you a restful and nourishing new year, one day at a time, one moment at a time. Blessings to you all. With love, Magda Kaczmarska. I said it wrong, but Magda, you know who we mean. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Magda and Carolyn Brent, for bringing your joy and happiness to Life is a Sacred Journey. You are blessings to us all. So I want to bring up a couple of things, and I read this week in the New York Times that the resiliency of our caregivers who were already stretched, who were already feeling the strain of caregiving, they are really feeling it now. As Magda just so eloquently said, they've been running the marathon. And here in California, we are experiencing a resurgence of this new Omicron strain. I know I've been exposed a couple of times now to people who have been diagnosed, but still testing negative. But at the end of the day, there's a stress. We even here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay, we have reached out to families and said, we can come get your loved one, but they're so frightened about them coming outside and the possibility of them being exposed to this new variant. So again, they're still isolated at home. They're still feeling a sense of isolation. And we are trying to do telemedicine and telesocialization so that we can keep those loved ones engaged. But how do caregivers cope during this time? I mean, they've been trying to cope prior, but now they have this added coping that they have to do. So if you are a primary caregiver or you're supporting someone who is a caregiver, I think Carolyn said it, so did Magda, take time out. You've got to take time out. And this goes out to pastors who are walking beside people, first responders that are walking beside people, social workers, anybody that's out there really giving services, making sure the services that we have become accustomed to continue to happen, but putting their health online. It creates a stress doing that. So please take time out to nurture yourself, love yourself. I'm not good at this, so I'm singing to the, I'm talking to myself as well. I'm the worst at it, but learning how to get better, learning how to cross out a day on my calendar so it's hard to write something in it, and not feeling guilty. This is my biggest problem, feeling guilty when I've taken time off for self, because then I feel like I haven't done something that maybe somebody else needs me to do or whatever. Well, we got to let go of that guilt and just keep, understanding that we will be better in any circumstance if we're rested. I find that I'm very impatient and get annoyed quickly when I haven't done my self-help stuff. So take time out for yourself. And taking time out for self does not mean that you're sitting and scrolling through your Facebook feed or Instagram feed. It means really breaking off from the things that draw your attention, create emotional impact for you. It means just really being quiet and breathing and all of those things. And we'll do some breathing exercises before we end today, because I think breathing, Sister T, if you're out there, breathing, we know helps clear the cobwebs and makes us feel really, really good after we do it, but we don't do it enough. So we'll talk about taking breathing breaks throughout the day, and particularly when you get stressed out, just stop talking and just start breathing. So take time out. Accept yourself. This was one of the hardest things for, believe it or not, for Micheal Pope to do. I hated, if you've watched Life is a Sacred Journey for many, now a couple of years, and before then when we were just a podcast, I had no liking for myself. I had a hard time looking in the mirror and probably seeing what people have said to me, as I've gotten older, or people around me. I didn't look at myself as being attractive. I thought that I was ugly. I had eczema really bad, so that created a bullying base for people to bully me, and when I was younger. And so the impact of all of that made me not even want to look at myself in the mirror. I didn't wear lipstick. I didn't wear anything that might attract people to look at me. And I tried to conform as much as I could by the way that I dress and my hair and all of that. And it wasn't me. So then what was happening psychologically, I was being beaten up inside. And I was hurting so badly. In my 20s were the greatest time of my life because I traveled and I learned so much. But it was also the worst time of my life because emotionally, I was a mess in my 20s. I really was carrying many rocks and many burdens. So those are the kinds of things when they say accept yourself. But after, I want to give thanks and praise to my son. I had my son at 31 years old. And when he was born, I began to look at him with such love and such like thanksgiving and when he would look back at me with such love and such like abandonment and safety, I thought, well, gee, I must not be so bad that this innocent life can look at me and see me for something that he depends on and that he loves me. So I'm always thanking my son for helping me to save my life, to save my soul. I was successful. I had a great job. I had money in the bank. I had all this stuff, but inside I was a decaying mess. And so from 31 until this very moment in space, this second that I'm sharing with you, I began to love myself. And I remember the moment that it happened. I was with a very good friend of mine, Karen, we call her Auntie KK, and I was with her and we were praying, quite honestly, we were praying together and meditating together. And after we were done, I looked at her and I had this, she said, you had this glow, and I started laughing and I said to her, I love myself. I love myself. So accept yourself for who you are. And if there's something that you don't like about yourself, then change it. just change it. It's okay. And you're not trying to be what other people want you to be. So accept yourself for who you are. And as caregivers, take time to accept the things that you cannot do for your loved one, and maybe someone else can help you do it. Give you that break so that you can take time and they can go and take care of your loved one. So accept yourself. Write down the things that upset you. Write down, and this is good for all of us to do and to reflect on the things that push those buttons. So, take a moment, get a pen and write down, I'm furious about this because. I'm furious about this because we're carrying a lot of fury. I realized last week, I'm carrying some fury inside of me from the pandemic, from the Black Lives Matter, from all of the division, all the things that are happening. So write down, I'm furious at because, so that you can see it, look at it, meditate on it, and figure out how you can get rid of the fury. So if you're furious about something because of something, let's figure out how we can get rid of that fury, because carrying that fury is just a tremendous weight. I'm sad because, sometimes we wake up sad because we're still grieving. Sometimes we wake up sad because of something that we heard or we read in the paper. I'm sad because. And then how do we turn that sadness around? Or use that sadness and turn it into being courageous or overcoming that sadness or sharing that sadness, because maybe it will help you to feel better, but it also will inspire somebody else who's feeling the same way and thinking that they're all alone. So share, I feel good because I accept myself as I am. I accept myself as I am. So coping with all of the negative emotions that we get as we're caregiving, as we continue to be in this pandemic, is so important. Anger is one of them. We're angry because we think we don't have enough things, or there's not enough masks, or we're angry because we can't sing in the church, or we're angry because they don't have our favorite thing at the grocery store because the things are coming less, or we ordered something and it's taking it 26 weeks to come instead of the normal 2 to 4. All these kinds of things. Identify what those things are that are making you angry, and then put them in the rearview mirror of your existence, because you cannot control those things. And so therefore, this anger, this emotion around them is really doing more harm to you than good, and you can't change it. We can't make something come quicker than we want it to come. We can't make the pandemic go away because we want the pandemic to go away. It's a collective process that will make the pandemic go away. And until we identify what that collective process is worldwide and then implement it, we really won't come out of this pandemic. We'll just be creating more strains. So think about that. Think about why you're getting angry and why you're giving it any kind of opportunity to grow inside of you. Jealousy is a big emotion that we deal with. Why me? And look at them, they have a great life, and look at me, I'm stuck in this situation, and all of that. And we don't mean to do that. We don't mean to adopt these emotions. Who would? They really hurt us. But jealousy can hurt us. I remember when I first got divorced, and all my friends around me were still married and are. And I felt I didn't want to hang out with them anymore because I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong. And there were moments when I would look at them and say, how come I couldn't do this? How come I couldn't keep a marriage going? How come? And it wasn't jealousy, but maybe it was a pang of jealousy where I was kind of like, wow, how come they get to have a partner forever and ever, and someone to love them unconditionally, and I don't. And so that's where accepting yourself and accepting your circumstances and moving on in your life gets you to understand that we all have different places that we land in our life journey, and looking for the good in it and not the bad. The depression and frustration, You know, frustration is a big one for me. I get very frustrated in traffic. It's one of the places where I'm so glad that I'm alone in my vehicle and none of you are there to hear me, because I get very frustrated with people who don't, use their blinker, or all of a sudden they're in the left-hand lane and they realize that they have to come all the way over to the right to exit, and they actually just do it without any regard of the flow of the traffic. All those kinds of things just weird me out. Or this new thing that I'm experiencing, and it's probably because I'm the age that I am, and I know I have cataracts that they're going to be taken out at some point when they get big enough. But I don't know if you all notice this, but I don't know if it's the LED lighting that are in the headlights or where the headlights are positioned. But when they hit that rear view mirror and they bounce back into my eyes, I am blinded by the new cars and those halogen or whatever those lights are that they have. And I think they need to do something about it, because I think it's creating some accidents. And if you're on the side of a highway, on the side going east or whatever, and people are coming on the opposite side, and those headlights hit you head on, you are blinded for a few minutes. So I don't know, write in the chat if you're experiencing that. Maybe this is just a Micheal Pope thing, but I'm finding the newer the vehicles are, the headlights are way up here and they really hit right. I don't know, maybe my car is just too low. I drive an Acura, but it hits those lights and then it just bounces back into my eye, into my eyes, and I can't see. And so, I've been thinking about writing the automobile folks and saying, I think you need to take a look at that, because as older people are driving, that really blinds us. And, we don't want to cause accidents. But if you're creating this or not just older people, let me stop that. That's ageism. I just did something that I don't want to practice. Ageism. Okay. For anybody, when you get a flash of light in your eye, you cannot see. So automobile people, please check your lights. First of all, when you get your oil change, make sure they're not where they shouldn't be. They don't need to be up high, because what you're trying to see is the landscape at the top of your hood. That's where at the top of your hood across this way is what the lights are supposed to be illuminating, not up into the universe, because that's not what you're trying to see. You're trying to see the landscape of the horizon of your vehicle. I looked it up because I wanted to know. So please check your lights for those of us that have problems. So that creates frustration for me. And when that happens, wherever I'm going at that time, when I get there, I have to take a few minutes to breathe because I'm upset. Because my eyes are now are watering, things are happening, and I get frustrated. But I don't want to take that frustration into the next experience. And so breathing helps me to do that. Get quality time with quality people doing quality things. That's my new thing. Quality time, quality people doing quality things. And I don't know what those things are for you. But, last week, I don't know what day it was, Sandy and I had just a moment talking about life and about things, and quality person, quality conversation, and a quality experience, just being with her, because I hadn't physically been with her for a while. So figure out what that is for you, but they're important to make sure you have them and try to experience them every day. Quality time with a quality person performing a quality thing or a quality adventure, something that you will always remember. And it can be something as simple as a Zoom call with somebody where you're sharing a bottle of wine. They have a bottle of wine, you have maybe not the whole bottle, but anyway, but you can share a glass of wine together. You can do dinner together. I'm getting ready to send my sister an invitation to do that with me. I'll have to have, in the afternoon, I'll be eating lunch, she'll be eating dinner, but it doesn't matter. It's quality time, quality person, and a quality event. Focus on the positive. We can focus on the negative stuff all the time, because it's always in our face. Chaos is always in our face. Negativity is always in our face. But it takes a lot of energy and courage to focus on the positive and push the negative aside. So Think right now, write about, if you can, if you have a moment and you feel like it, write in the chat one positive thing about yourself. Share it with the rest of the Life is a Sacred Journey audience. And I know it's hard to do because we think we're being egotistical when we want to share something positive about ourselves. But no, share something right now. Write it in the chat. I can't see it under this platform. I can't see your writing. But please write about one thing positive about yourself. One thing positive that I know about myself is that I have an infectious laugh and an infectious smile. When I smile, people always tell me it makes them feel safe and comfortable. And because I have a smile that's very childlike. It still looks like I'm thinking of the next thing to do, like you caught me with my hand in the cookie jar. That's what my laughter is. That's what my smile is. And it's only because I really enjoy being with people. I am not an extrovert. Everybody thinks I am. I am really an introvert. Every test that I've ever taken, I come up that way. It's just that my love for people makes me curious, and so therefore I know how to navigate that extrovert space. But I'm really not. I really am an introvert. But at the end of the day, I love people, and so smiling at them is one of the things that I think I give as a gift. So what is your thing that you give as a gift? Write it in the chat. Share it, and then be thankful that you're able to share that. You need to also, if you are a caregiver or somebody that's dealing with a lot of stress right now, let's get back out there and go for a walk. The sun is coming up a little bit earlier, it's setting a little bit later, but get out there and get in the fresh air. Let's start walking again. I need to start walking again. I haven't. It has been too cold and too dark in the morning. And so I stopped doing it for a minute, but I've been doing it in the evening, but not in the same way. Go for a walk. Get out of your house. Go for a walk at the park, a trail. Take somebody with you. Walk 6 feet apart so that you can take your mask off for a minute, because you can still wear your mask outside in that kind of setting without people around. Give your lungs an opportunity to cleanse, because wearing a mask is also hard on our lungs. But get out there. Do something. Tomorrow, I think I am free until 2 o'clock, and I've been thinking about getting up and watching the sunrise somewhere on some beach or some cliff or something, and just turning around, getting back in my car and going home. So do what you need to do to be with nature. Get outside, breathe, walk, exercise. I am staying away from any gym or anything like that personally. You do what you think is best for you, but getting out and getting some fresh air, being in nature is one of the best therapies that we have. It's a gift from God. It's a gift from the universe, and so take advantage of it. Indulge in an activity that you haven't indulged in. As you know, I'm going to bring in some of my paintings. I've been painting a lot. I ordered now a little tiny kiln thing, a wheel, potter's wheel thing. I'm going to start making little tiny things. I don't know why. For some reason, using my hands, my house has turned into I've got plants everywhere. My gardening, for the first time, I now have 3 avocado trees. I'll give you the secret on how I finally rooted an avocado seed. Oh my gosh, now, and I've been giving them away to people so I've been doing all these things with my hands. I don't know why. I'm a hand person. That's why getting manicures is the worst thing, because I use my hands. So do something that you haven't done in a while, something that brings you joy. But we don't know how long this pandemic is going to be. And so that doesn't mean you should stop growing, living, and exchanging with other people, the creative self that is probably dormant because we've been living life and running around. Revisit that person, that artist inside of you. Write some poetry. Just write. Seek opportunities. If you are a caregiver or someone that is dealing with compassion fatigue, burnout, seek opportunities for people to support you. the thing that I did the other day, I realized that I was having a really bad day. I've been in some meetings that have just really hurt me to my soul. And they have created emotion for me after the meetings are over because I'm a reflective person. But I needed to be supported at one of them because I was so deeply hurt at the behavior of the individuals in the meeting. And I couldn't figure out why I was hurt. But I picked up the phone and I text Sister Stacy and I said, we need to talk. I'm feeling some kind of way and I don't know why I'm feeling. She wasn't even in the meeting, but I just needed somebody to hear me. And so sometimes you just need somebody to hear you. You know, those of you that are happily married, you have partners that you can share that with, or those of you that have partners, you can share that with your partner. This is the time when you can grow closer together and being more intimate in your conversations and sharing your whole and entire self. If it's not an exercise or practice in your relationship, important to do to keep those keep your marriage bound together, the ties that bind us together. But we also, as single people, have friends and people who are willing to be that support for us. And so don't ever feel that you're alone because your life or your partnership or your singlehood doesn't match someone else. I've been thinking a lot about being single, and it says people who are partnered or married live longer and all of that, and I'm not married or partnered. So at the end of the day, does that mean that I'm going to die before everybody else? And I'm going to prove them wrong. I am not going to die because I'm not married and because I'm not partnered up. I'm partnered up with life. I'm partnered up with activities and all kinds of things. So I am really okay. Now, does that mean that every once in a while it would be nice to share dinner with somebody? But guess what? I do. I pick up the phone and I call friends and I say, let's go to dinner. Let's do this. Let's do that. So be proactive in making sure that you have your support system, regardless of whether you live in a situation where your support system is right there next to you, or whether you have to seek it out among the village that you've created to support you through your sacred journey. But speak it, say it. Don't not share it with the people that you love. Let me get moving. We're running out of time. Take time for the things you enjoy. Enjoy the things that you take time for. Don't rush through them like there's an agenda. Don't rush through them like it has a time frame. Just go and enjoy it. And if you thought that you were only going to do it for an hour and you're doing it for an hour and a half, be okay with that. It's okay. Take time. Give your life as much time as we give our time to other things. Give you back that time. You can't restore it as like going back in the time bubble. But if you give away 20 hours in a week, then at least try to give yourself 10 hours of something for yourself. And 10 hours in a day is probably just as much as we give, if not more, to any situation that we're working in, volunteering in, or just being a part of. So take time to do the things you enjoy. Prioritize what you need. Write down. Be proactive. Don't forget about the things that you need to make it through your life, and make sure that you set it up so that you know that you're going to do it. If you're like me, write it down. Write down. Go for manicure. Go for massage. Do whatever. Call this person. I owe my auntie a call right now. I've been trying to get to her for 2 weeks. But that's the problem. You see, I've been trying to get to her for 2 weeks. And I should have called her already. So trying to make time in our busy life for things that are important. And she's very important to me, and probably more important than some of the stuff that has taken me from making that call. So let's make sure we're more intentional in 2022 and connect with the people that we love. I just found this incredible book that I've had for a really long time. It's by Carl and David Marshall, and it's called The Book of Myself. It's a do-it-yourself autobiography and it is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if it's still in print. It has 201 questions that you can ask yourself. I'm getting ready to, in my 2022 year, after my 65th birthday, I'm going to do, this is when I'm starting this book. I've had it for a long time. I've used it for all kinds of things, but I've never written in it. And it is an incredible book. It's the book of myself, 201 questions, autobiography. And they wrote it so they could give it to their children. They could leave it for their children. And the first chapter is about the early years, the middle years, and the later years. And I just think this is amazing. So the book of myself, if you're thinking about journaling this year, this might be a great journal that you can also leave for your family. Francis Kakagawa is a dear friend. I am so honored to know this beautiful spirit. And this book, I Am Somebody, is a book of poetry and essays from caregivers who have lived through the caregiving experience. Frances has been a caregiver to a mom living with Alzheimer's. I'm going to be getting in contact with Frances to get her back here on Life is a Sacred Journey. But this is an incredible book if you're a caregiver, and their caregiver stories and their actual words. Another book that for caregiving is The Art and Science of Caregiving, and this is stories of inspiring elders with an end-of-life guidebook, and this is Annalise Schinzinger, and this is another great book if you are someone that walks beside caregivers or you are a caregiver. This is another great book. So those are 3 books that I wanted to share with you today and let you know that they're out there. And the book of myself, I think, is a great journaling book that I know I'm going to be taking into 2022 in an effort to, just kind of write about my life. All right, so we have come to the end of our time here at Life is a Sacred Journey. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank Felicia for being, like Carolyn said, the best producer and content manager that a person like I could even deserve to have. I want to thank all of you for joining Life is a Sacred Journey every Friday morning at 8 a.m. here on Facebook Live. So be well. Wear your mask, K95, order them online, get enough of them to get you through the summer because you're going to need them, to be safe. Definitely wash your hands, hand sanitizer. I've even gone so far now, I'm using this immunity mist. It's, oh boy, I'm having a hard, there you go. Immunity mist. And I bought it at Ace Hardware, and I just spray it in the air. Well, to keep the air clear and all of that. So do whatever you have to do to be safe, but be safe. It is important that you are. It's important that you live your best life. And we're going to make it through this time of pandemic and get to the place where we are moving forward into a different time. Remember to lift up those in Tonga who are going through this incredible tsunami and aftermath and continued bubbling. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in this day. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Have a wonderful day. This is Micheal Pope. I am Micheal Pope, your host here at Life is a Sacred Journey. And thank you for joining us. Hug yourself. Hug a tree, pet a dog, pet a cat, but more importantly, be good to yourself and take time for self. We'll see you next week here at Life is a Sacred Journey. Have a good weekend. Be well. Peace.